Today, I'm very excited to have our guest, the one and only Dan Fleischman.
I was on Golden Auctions till 2 a.m. Refresh.
Let's go. I gotta get in.
100,000, 200,000, 300,000 a month just firing away on Golden.
I heard about that. The CEO of Kellogg said, it's rough times out there, but they could eat cereal for dinner. What?
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 Yeah.
In tough times, tell people to eat cereal for dinner. That's Marie Antoinette.
Yeah. That's why I don't work with some household name corporations. I've turned down the best of the best deals. I've turned down McDonald's. I've turned down Amex. Great companies. I love Amex. I can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Extraordinary, the most extraordinary podcast in the world. Today, I'm very excited to have our guest, the one and only Dan Fleischman. You do so many things, and people would advise typically against that, but somehow you do all these things really, really well.
Dude, this episode might be a 2-hour special.
Yeah, we gotta keep going.
We usually go 1 hour. This one might be a 2-hour special.
So I advise to not do too many things also,
Okay.
even though I do it.
Yeah.
But I have an answer for it.
Let's hear it.
I don't do any project that doesn't have a quarterback.
Okay.
So if there's not someone running it, I won't do it for any amount of money.
Okay.
So like, let's say we're going to start selling Extraordinary cups.
Mm-hmm.
If Spence isn't the CEO and Teague's not going to be the CEO, then I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Literally not happening. And so it looks like I've got acai bowl chains and card stores and agencies and all these different things going on. I do.
You do.
CEO. So someone running each thing. So I don't want to.
And then you own equity in each business.
Yes.
Or like, okay.
So I own 10 to 50% per company.
10 to 50.
Yes. And
Okay.
I only do it if I have a CEO. Now, the ones that I'm starting from scratch, I own 50 to 90%.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning either I have a partner as a joint venture or I have a CEO running it. So if I own it, so I have 7 operating companies. Each of those companies, I own 50 to 90%.
Okay.
And then you go find your CEO and place him in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Well, beforehand. I won't start it if I don't have
How do you know if you have a good CEO to run the business?
They have to be ride or die. They have to love it. Like if Spence loves fitness and he's doing a fitness app, I'll bet on him, right? Because he lives and breathes the thing. If you love what you're doing and you like the energy world and that's what you've been doing for years and years, I'll bet on the thing, right? I'll bet on the person that actually cares. But if you said, hey, I want to start selling pillows, I'm not investing.
Unless it's my pillow guy. This guy loves pillows.
He loves pillows.
Yeah.
But like if you think about someone has to actually care about the thing. And so that's part one. 2, can they actually do it? Like, can they actually back it up? Just because you love something doesn't mean you're good at it. Everyone loves basketball and football and hockey and soccer and whatever, but it doesn't mean that they're the best,
Panthers,
right?
baby.
But like, we can all wear the jersey, but there's only a certain amount of people on the planet that can be on the field and win the game and then win the championship, right?
The good quarterback.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm looking for.
So you have tons of stuff, dude. I want to start with cards and coffee.
It's right down the street.
Right, it is right down
true.
the street. It is right down the street.
So Cards and Coffee came up because Gary Vaynerchuk named it. That's how I started it. It was in a group chat. And Gary and I started 4 different group chats about sports, cards, and Pokemon. And we were bringing in all these characters into the game. Logan Paul, Steve Aoki, all these guys that had no sports, cards, or Pokemon. We were like, hey, come on a Zoom call and talk with Gary and I about why. Not to buy anything from us, just to talk about cards. And now they've both got tens of millions of dollars of the things that they like in that category. So a year into the group chat, Gary was like, in the summer of 2020, he was like, there's a great idea for Cards and Coffee. Most of these sports card stores are kind of like Blockbuster Video. Someone should do like the Netflix of sports cards. And I raised my little hand emoji in the group chat, like, I'll do it. 7 weeks later, I sent a picture in front of the store open with Dash Radio, with DJ Ski, inside of Dash Radio. And so I self-financed it. I put up 1.6 million. I didn't want to raise any money because
So you own that one 100%.
at that time.
At that time.
Yes, at that time. Oh, sorry.
Now
I
you have a
ga-
CEO.
But I gave Steve Aoki a percentage. I gave DJ Ski a percentage. I gave my CEO a percentage. So I didn't have 100%. I gave these guys equity in the business. 8 weeks later, we did $1 million in sales. 8 months later, 10 million in sales.
Damn.
And so I was
A lot
like,
of
okay,
cards
this is
and
not
coffee.
just a hobby anymore. We're onto something. So I opened a second store, and then a big sports agent, talent agent out of New York named Ryan Shinman said, can I invest? was like, well, I just did 10 million sales. I don't really need investors for this thing. He's like, no, I'll bring a bunch of strategic investors. Let's raise a round. And so he brought me like the owner of Forever 21 and Post Malone and a bunch of managers and sports agents and team owners. I was like, okay. So we raised the round, and then I went from 2 stores.
How much did you
to 8
raise in
stores.
the round?
It was a small round. It was 4 million.
Okay.
With a 100K max. No one
Okay.
could put more than 100K in because
A lot of strategy.
I wasn't doing it for the money. I just
So
wanted a bunch
40 investors
Yes.
put in 100K.
Well,
each.
actually a little more than that because some people do
Right.
25, 50K trades.
Right.
So that caused me to go from 2 stores to 8 stores like that.
Where are all the locations?
So we have Calabasas, we have Jacksonville, Florida, Salt Lake City, New York City, etc.
Okay, nice. And the idea of Cards and Coffee, obviously it's a sports card store, right? So like you can put your cards on consignment. I
Sure.
think I put a couple like Charizards at your store. I can't remember. But you do these box breaks?
Yes. So the goal is only 2 things. We want to be the first national chain store, and the only one's crazy enough to be 24 hours a day ripping open cards,
I saw that. It's exciting too.
morning, noon, and night. And
Yeah.
they are amped.
They're going
oh
in.
my God, you
No,
know,
we gotta.
Charizard,
Yeah.
you know. And so we want to be that. We want to be the only true chain store. Not that there could be lots of other chain stores later, but for now we're the only chain store, and the only one's literally crazy enough to be 24 hours a day for 3 years now. And so anytime you want, we'll open up packs of cards for you. Pokemon, baseball, football, basketball, Disney, doesn't matter. We'll open it for you.
So I can come in with my own pack of cards and just have you guys open it for me.
Yeah. The reason for that would be the expertise, right? You could open it at home or with your kids, with your parents, and it's nice. But you're looking through like Jason Tatum, Shaquille O'Neal, and you might pass by a rare card and you don't know. Because it could be an obscure card or has an error on it or it's perfect or whatever the thing is. You just think it's like some random player. Or it's a really good player and you don't realize that's like the card.
Yeah.
And so the expertise helps a lot.
How many cards are the card?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
Per sport. But if you really think about it, who's the GOAT in each sport? That's the card, right? And
Yeah.
For hockey, it's Wayne Gretzky and certain
Right.
cards. A Wayne Gretzky card could be $1 million if you get the perfect one. But there could also be household names that are like $5,000, $2,000, $10,000. So it also depends on
Wild.
story, history, brand, everything.
So we just had on the pod one of Spence's friends, Alex, who is one of these scouts for Golden Auctions.
Okay, cool.
What's your take on that show?
So, well, I mean, Golden Auctions is the legend in the game, right?
The legend.
And that guy, Ryan Shimon, was one of the biggest investors in Golden Auctions. That's how it all happened. And so I was buying, when I first started my sports car stores, I was on Golden Auctions till 2 a.m, refresh.
Let's go. I gotta get in.
100,000, 200,000, 300,000 a month, just
Yeah.
firing away on Golden. Every time there's an auction,
Yeah.
let's go. $500,000, let's go. I don't care.
Yeah, let's go.
I want that card. And so Golden is they're iconic in the game. The TV show did good. It's number 4 on Netflix.
It's
Wild.
incredible.
Wild.
I mean, think about what they're up against.
Right.
Competition-wise, to be number 4, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
They just
So-
came out with the new season. Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking
The
about?
new
It's
season's number 4, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode and they get that Honus Wagner card on there.
Yep, 3.1 million.
3.1 million.
No, no,
Now it's a lot. Now it's a lot higher.
I think that I haven't finished watching the whole season yet, but Honus Wagner went for 3.1.
Yes.
I think he said that this one could potentially be 25 million.
Well, yes, that depends on what ends up being graded
Right.
and who's willing to pay for it.
Right.
Yes.
So has it sold yet or?
I don't know if that one sold.
Yeah.
I remember the original one was the
Dude,
one
can you
that caused all the
imagine?
mess.
25 million.
Yeah. Can you
Well,
imagine
I mean,
20?
there's guys that turned it down. There's guys that turned down, like.
What makes you turn down a $25 million offer for a card? You just don't care.
You're either
It's
gambling.
one of a kind.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
You're gambling on the future, right?
True.
Hoping that something crazy happens. Like,
How much of it is it a gamble on the future versus like you just don't really care about money that much?
So it depends. There is a number for all cards.
Okay,
for
okay.
obviously, there is
Yeah,
a number.
A number, right.
But oftentimes you're not going to get that number because there is a value to it.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is when there's a one of one, right? When
Right.
there's only one card, like Logan Paul's $5 million card on his chest.
Is that the one you gave him or no?
No.
Okay, okay.
Me and my friend Travis, we bought 20% of that. So we bought $1 million of Logan's $5 million card because he was involved in like a marketplace also.
Mm-hmm.
And so that card can go up to 7 million, can go down to 3 million, can go up to 10 million. That's an emotional card because it's one of one.
Right.
Logan has it, the card, and he's making it way more famous, icing it out and wearing it to WWE and fights.
Right, it's a good investment.
So we are gambling by putting in $1 million of his $5 million investment, but it's Logan. It's going to get on TV. He loves it.
Does
And
it
you could
ever
sell-
have to be sold though?
I mean, our million bucks will be locked up in it until it is sold.
Right. But he never has to sell it.
So,
doesn't have to
so
sell it, no.
can you sell your equity, your piece of that? Can you sell that 20% to anyone you want?
He has first right of refusal. So
Okay.
I'd have to ask Logan first. Hey, I can get 1.4. For example,
You pay for it.
do you want it? And then he can say yes or no.
Okay.
And he has to be able to approve of who the person is because it's Logan.
That
so
makes
it's
sense.
like,
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
normally that's a rare situation. Obviously,
Yeah, you can't sell a piece to someone that's
Yeah.
super sketchy.
Yeah.
It's like sharing a house with this guy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't right now. You know,
Yeah.
it's Logan, and so
Yeah.
I'm willing to gamble on him because he's obviously on a huge trajectory with Prime and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he loves it. If he like stopped wearing it or stopped caring, I would want to sell it.
Right.
Right. Because
That goes to your CEO clause where it's like this guy's loving it.
yes.
You know.
If he just puts it in the safe and it's over, or he starts saying, "I love hockey," all right, well, I want to sell my card. Right?
Yeah,
Let me sell my piece.
Let's get out of
But
this.
when he's still rocking a iced out Charizard, then I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. Is it a Charizard? The
No,
thing?
it's a
Pikachu, right?
yeah Pikachu.
Yeah.
How much does the average pack of cards, sports cards, cost at coffee cards and coffee to break open?
So we sell everything from $10 all the way up to thousands and thousands and thousands.
for just a pack
Yeah, for a
and
pack.
you don't know what's in it.
No.
Okay.
That-
Well, it depends what type of pack it is.
Okay.
Like if
Okay.
it's a first edition Pokemon pack, like that's thousands of dollars.
Right.
So
Because
you know
But
that
a regular Pokemon pack could be $4,
Right.
Okay.
$8.
Okay.
If it's a
interesting.
pack that potentially has a card that is worth hundreds of thousands, then the pack,
It's more expensive.
like for instance,
bigger risk.
Michael
but
Jordan's
bigger reward.
rookie year, right? What was that? 86?
Yes.
Yeah. Tops.
86 tops. Yes.
Yeah. If you have an 86 tops
We opened-
box with
Unopened,
pack,
yeah.
We opened one of those for charity, and it was $250,000 at the time.
Let's go.
And we had
The box or the card?
Yeah, the box.
The box, the whole box was
Yeah.
a quarter
and
million,
So
right?
it's interesting. You average 3 Michael Jordans. You don't know, but you
Right.
average 3 Michael Jordans in there, but you don't know what the level of grade will be of how good the quality is.
Right.
And so we had Mark Wahlberg, Snoop Dogg, Cedric the Entertainer, Mike Tyson, everyone live streaming in or coming by to open up this charity box. And I had my one pack that I bought. The guy that organized it,
Wait, how much per pack? How many packs per box?
36, I think it was.
Divided
Yeah,
by
32 or
divided by
36.
250K.
Yeah. And so
Yeah. So like 8K,
Solid.
8K.
It was around
a
there, yeah.
Pack.
Yeah.
and it all was going for charity. And so I had my one pack. And the guy that helped me, his name is Dana Pump. He knows all the athletes. He brought me all these basketball players and Mike Tyson, etc. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give you the pack. Of course, he hit the Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Here's
you
the
gave
best-
it to him to
What
keep.
was it graded?
So he gets
So here's the best part. He opens it. Everyone goes ballistic. And I'm like happy slash
that was
like,
my pack, brother.
he hits it. Here's the best part. He's really close friends with Ken Golden, Golden Auctions. He puts it on Golden Auctions. Guess who wins the bid?
You bought it back.
How much?
I
How
got it
much?
cheap though. I got it for like 46,000.
Nice.
You just gave it.
So you got an
46.
MJ rookie for 46?
Yeah.
Was it
Sounds like a
graded
deal.
already or
It was
ungraded?
graded a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
epic.
anyways, it was a fun, like, crazy story. Like,
Little
I
loop.
gifted it to him. He wins it. He goes crazy. He puts it on the auction house, and I fight to win, and I get my own card back.
Got it
Wait,
back.
I have a question. Grading is absolutely critical,
Oh, yes.
right? So like you open this brand new pack and the Michael Jordan gets graded a 9 instead of a 10, which is theoretically
6-figure difference.
Right.
Talking about like
How do you-
20 to 40K versus
How do
hundreds of
you
thousands.
how do you reconcile that? Like it's a brand new card and it's some random guy who just arbitrarily is deciding this is a 9 instead of a 10,
Yeah.
which theoretically is costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to the owner.
So random guys, fully trained. There's other people that are managers overseeing it, especially on the big cards. Typically, you're going to PSA. They're the biggest company in the world, or BGS and SGC. There's a bunch of brands, but PSA is
Is the one.
They're the 800-pound gorilla in the game. Multi-billionaire owns it, and so random guy is trained. Now,
Right.
There's hundreds of employees, and there's going to be thousands, so the quality could go down later. But they're constantly trading, and they have people oversee them. So if a new kid is working there,
Interesting.
manager's
Okay.
still going to look at a Michael Jordan especially. And the hard part is, if you get a 9, you can crack it open and try to ask for a regrade.
Right.
It's really rare that it's going to now all of a sudden become a 10 for a lot of reasons, politically and mentally, and they know going in what what that card was.
Do they?
Yeah, it's all in the system. I can check
Right.
every card.
They
in
don't
the
have
moment.
somebody else random send it in or like I don't know.
Throw it on the blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could have someone else do it. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's not assigned to me in the system like
But
that.
they don't know. Okay. I know.
But if Teague submits his card, I don't know that's yours, but I know that that card was submitted for sure.
If you broke it open though.
Yeah, it's still we still know because
Okay.
there's only 346 of those. So like.
Oh really? Only 346.
Of Michael Jordan PSA 10.
Right. Okay.
So like
Wow.
I know literally that number is stuck in my head. So like,
Until there's a new one graded that.
there's just not that many.
Right.
Like who's gonna show up with a Michael Jordan card right now?
Yeah.
There's not like there's a bunch of 86 boxes laying around of like people ripping them open.
Right.
True.
And so the numbers are just so small that we know and the industry knows. And like I can tell you how many Serena Williams rookie cards are, how many PSA this, how many LeBron James. I literally know to the penny
Right.
how many there are. And so can there trickle in? They can tiny trickle in, but not really.
Yeah. Dude, so what like making a decision like that, is this a 9 or a 9.5 or a 10? It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And there's no bribing.
It's
There's nothing you
somewhat,
can do about it.
somewhat
Yeah, nothing.
subjective though. It's somewhat subjective.
Yeah, so they have a system of what they're looking for, right? They're looking for the condition, they're looking for the corners, they're looking for the top and the back, they're looking for the smoothness
Center.
of
I
it.
wonder if
Yeah.
they can implement some sort of AI that is
AI.
perfect and it'll
Yeah.
let you know exactly what it is.
Even with perfection, there's still some emotion to it
right.
because the centering is always going to be perfect. The corners, it's perfect. Those things are, you can
Easy to
do, a
do.
robot can tell you that.
Mhm.
However, there's texture and feel and look and coloring. Like there's things that like a human has to decide, especially when they know the history of that card. Big difference between brand new LeBron James card versus a 100-year-old Lou Gehrig card
True.
or a big,
Right. It's just it's wild to me that brand new cards wouldn't be 10s. Like that's the thing that I have.
Yeah.
a
It's really
problem with.
it's
maybe
really hard to get a 10.
Maybe the AI grading is a multi-phase process where like it scans it and that's one portion and the X factor is the human.
So when they're cutting the cards, like think about it, they're cutting tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of cards for the boxes. They're then putting into plastic, and they're closing those boxes and shipping them around, and so they're just not that sturdy compared to what. So when they're opening them, and the people that are opening them, they got greasy fingers. They're sliding them like this, like stuff happens.
Yeah.
And so the process of getting you that box and that pack and that card can cause some damage
Could
along
turn
the
a
way.
10 to a 9.
And the way you open it, the way you then sleeve it, like everything about it.
Yeah.
And so it
Risky.
theoretically they should be really smooth, nice cards, but it's not a perfect game.
I did a break
wild.
at Cards and Coffee, and I think one of your guys opened like a $350 card for me. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
That was my only experience with cards.
There you go, dog.
But one-
350, baby.
Yeah, 350, one and done. So thank you for that.
So that's one of your businesses. Where
Yeah.
does that rank on like your faves? Is that up there?
Yeah, it's really up there.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
That's a good hobby.
I could tell you're excited
That's a
about it.
passion.
Yeah,
I can talk about cards for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Like it's-
What's like kind of number 2 or 3? Like how do you?
the live events is number 2.
Yeah.
I throw 42 events a year, and
That's insane.
a lot of business events, but I tie in a lot of charity stuff. So I like it a lot. We just did a 3-day business conference in Salt Lake City, and on Thursday we raised $500,000 for an orphanage.
Cool.
Wow.
So I had a 600-person business conference, and then I was like, by the way, guys, tonight's a dinner. And then boom, we locked the doors and we raised $500,000. Right?
Yeah.
Epic.
You guys aren't leaving until we all donate.
Let's
you know?
go.
And so having that power of like taking a business conference and then turning it into good outside of like teaching people about investing and that stuff, I like the business part of it. But the events to me, I'm collecting people.
Mhm.
You know, I'm able to teach people about money, investing, finance, business, etc. And in between there have a lot of charity stuff.
What's your business? What's the events company called?
So there's
multiple.
a bunch of brands.
Is it
yeah.
Aspire?
Bunch of brands.
So Aspire Tour is the largest business
the
tour in
big one,
America.
yeah.
That's the large format, 3,000 to 5,000 people per event. We're doing Madison Square Garden July 20th.
How many people at that?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, the cap is like 20 or something like that. It's
I
crazy.
think we're doing the theater, so I think we'll be
Okay.
capped at 5,800 is my
Okay.
guess.
Still sick.
But our lineup's insane. We have
Who's the lineup?
Martha Stewart, A-Rod, Stephen A. Smith. It's a bunch of David Goggins. I guess a
Epic.
bunch of
Nice,
characters. It's gonna be
nice.
really
That's
fun.
great. That's
We
great.
got Big Poppy.
Hey, let's go.
Um,
Maybe we should pull up to that one.
Yeah, we
that's-
should.
yeah, July
What's the
20th.
date?
July 20th. That'd be fun.
Yep.
And then, right away, 2 weeks later, August 8th, we're in Phoenix. September 5th, or sorry, in Houston. September 5th, we're in Phoenix. Blah blah blah. Like we're every 3 to 4 weeks. That is a funnel to our mastermind events. Our mastermind events are
The
15,000.
millionaire mastermind.
Yeah, we have the
$100
$100,000 one, a $50K one, a $30K one, and a $15K one. So we have 4
Right.
different levels of price points for different type of people, different types of stages of their business. That has 1,100 members at those different price points, right? So that's a big business from teaching people. That event in Salt Lake City was 600 of those members in one room. that all paid $15K or $50K.
Mm-hmm.
And
For that one event.
for the year, they go to
for the year, okay.
three weekends a year.
Got it. 3
Cool.
weekends a year.
So 3 weekends a year plus a weekly Zoom call, and then they all network with each other. So they're learning a lot, but the networking is the best part for them.
Connecting.
And then from there, we also raise capital for companies. So I raised $44 million in the last 2 years for food and beverage brands and consumer products through these groups. And so it's good for them. They get to see deals early that they wouldn't normally get to see. So let's say Hydra was raising money, for example, we would raise them around in that room or on Zoom or through my elevator syndicate in like 15 days flat.
What are maybe the most successful businesses that you've raised money for? Like something that was small when you started, but now is a name brand that maybe everybody might know.
So SneakerCon sold to eBay.
Okay.
That was cool. And it was, good.
Solid acquisition.
Yeah, eBay's a great company, obviously, but the paperwork was like 180 pages.
eBay just acquired Golden, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, eBay's on the move. I mean, think about how huge they are.
Right.
It makes sense for them. Everbowl is obviously the one that I'm very passionate about and is a foregone conclusion that it's going to have a big exit. Right?
And Everbowl is 96 locations and 400
430 that we've sold. So we're building towards that. So I invested $500,000 back in 2018. We then only had like 13, 14 stores. I then raised them $5 million 2019. Bunch of stores open up. March 2020, the whole world shuts down.
Right. It was a rough time.
We actually go on the offensive. We signed 320 leases, getting big discounts, free rent, free tenant improvements, $100K from the landlord. Anything, just come to us.
How long is a typical lease that you guys are signing?
5 years or 10 years.
5, 10?
Yep.
Nice.
And so we signed all these great leases. Drew Brees invests a couple $1 million. Drew Brees buys 160 locations. Jason Tatum
Drew
buys.
Brees bought 160 Everbowl locations.
It's so good. Everbowl's delicious.
He's looking for that. Like, who are some of the biggest celebrity franchisees? Like Shaq,
So
Rick
Drew
Ross.
Brees owns a bunch of other locations of other sandwich places.
Okay.
And arcades and things like that. He owns a lot of franchises. He likes it a lot. Shaq has a place called Big Chicken. We at Everbowl have a company called We Build. We build all of Big Chickens for Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice.
And he actually is now an investor in the company We Build.
We build. It's just boom. Build mine.
Mark Wahlberg obviously loves franchises, and he had his gyms that he's been doing. He has his Wahlburgers place he's been doing, and we're now building a big gym for him in Las Vegas. We build for him.
Cool.
And so we try to build for these type of franchises. So Jason Tatum invested into Everbowl. Kamara Usman invested. So we have some good, not just invested, but also bought locations. So obviously good timing for Tatum to win the championship.
Yeah.
And now literally our location with him is opening right now, like in a few weeks.
Nice.
So the timing is great. But yeah, Everbowl is a big one for me. And now that we have one open every 6 days, to me it's a foregone conclusion what happens with the company. Yeah. Because we also raised a $15 million round last year, which we didn't need. It was like a war chest round to just like, all right, let's go for it.
What valuation did you guys bring that in at?
75.
Solid.
Nice.
Yeah.
So talk about the difference between owning locations versus the franchise model. Like for all the franchise locations, they have to pay some marketing back to the headquarters.
Yes.
Okay.
So corporate-owned stores are useful to practice, and you can't really be a franchise until you open some stores first. Typically 2 to 5 locations before you really consider even being a franchise. Oftentimes people open one like, I'm going to be a franchise. Make sure it works at 2, 3, 4 different cities or 2, 3, 4 different places without you being there to know that it works, right? If Spence opens a gym and then he opens a second one, third one, fourth one, it's different when he's in the building versus not in the building.
Right.
Can it run when Spence isn't there?
Big difference.
Big difference, right? But it has to work without him there because that's what a franchise is. And so having corporate-owned stores is important to really like practice, get all the kinks out, know the details. What do customers like? What do they hate? What do they say on Yelp? You want to learn everything about owning your location. Franchises are great because someone else pays for it. So Spence now says, hey, I got cool gyms. Hey, Teague, you want to buy it? And you're like, yeah, sure. You go put up 150 grand. You open up a gym with him. You pay him 6% to 8% on average of gross sales and 1 to 3% from marketing. So you typically
1 to 3% of revenue?
Yeah, of gross.
Okay, of gross
so you
revenue.
end up paying between 8 and 11% on average to the franchisor, to Spence in this example, so if he has gyms. He has to provide value to you. Here is the full playbook of how to open a gym, how to run a gym, how to hire for a gym, how to do taxes for a gym, accounting, marketing, everything, so you don't have to go try to open a gym yourself. Could you go open your own gym? Of course you could. But he's got systems, operations,
Brand
marketing,
name,
brand
yeah.
name.
Mm-hmm.
And so could someone else open an acai bowl place? Of course they can. But having Everbowl, we're spending tens of millions of dollars in marketing. We've got Drew Brees and Kamar Usman and Jason Tatum.
Mhm.
Like, we've got a lot of things that are marketing. Gary V's on the board now. Like, all these people that have big brands and social medias will help you with our chain.
That's
Yeah.
definitely worth 8 to 11%.
Exactly.
How much revenue would like one location, a franchisee of Everbowl make or expect to make per year?
So the locations do between 400,000, 800,000 in gross revenue. Some do much more, right? San Diego State, which is one that I own 17 of the.
Let's go. Let's go.
That is over $1 million. That's like
Nice.
1.1, 1.2 because it's San Diego State University.
Mhm.
But on average, $400,000, $800,000 depends on your city, your location. Are you in a mall, a strip mall?
Foot traffic.
Yeah, all those type of factors.
Right.
But what's great about Everbowl and why I invested so much into it, there's no manager, there's no cook, there's no chef, there's no oven, there's no hood, there's no grease trap.
Yeah.
So the permit's so much easier. There's no kitchen, right? We have refrigerators and washing, but we don't cook anything.
Right.
Mhm.
And so that is
It's smaller than a Subway.
Yeah, very similar. Exactly. So we range from 400 square feet to 1,000 square feet. Subway's same thing. They can do from 300 to 600,
Mhm.
go as much as 1,500 if they want to, depending on airports, malls, etc.
Mhm.
But we can fit anywhere. This room is way more than enough space for an Everbowl, for example.
Sure.
And so I like it because my overhead's low. I don't have any manager. I need 2 or 3 employees per location that are, making $15, $20 an hour. They can be high school, college kids.
Mhm.
There's no rocket science to this compared to food that you've got to cook. Now you need cooks. Now you need
Greasy
managers.
burgers are a lot
Yeah.
harder to control.
Yes.
We had my good buddy Seth Cohen on the show, who is the founder of Sweetfin. I think that you guys were talking about that
Yes.
earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Place
they're
is great. by the
Yeah,
way.
they're at 20 locations, all
Yeah.
wholly owned now.
Oh, all fully owned.
Yeah, all
That's-
fully owned.
Wow.
And they're
They should definitely
about
franchise.
they're thinking about starting a
Yeah.
franchise.
Well, we'll put him with owner Everbowl, and he'll explain why he should franchise.
And
It changes his life,
and
especially with a good brand like that.
It's
True.
very similar to what you were saying. No hood, no cooking.
I love that.
Like
Mhm.
very, very
Small
easy,
footprint.
straightforward. Yeah, small footprint. They were thinking about, what do you say,
20,
900 to 1,200 square feet.
That's perfect.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
your rent's
1,000
like,
square feet.
Yeah, your rent's like $4,000, $8,000 a month.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens in our society, economy goes up or down, you can handle it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The people that have like an Olive Garden with $40,000 a month in overhead
Yeah.
and 62 employees, oh,
You have a bad week and it hurts.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's a
wow.
rainstorm or a tornado. Oh
Yeah,
boy,
done.
you lose
So-
2 weeks. Yeah,
Mhm.
you lose 2 weeks at Sweetfin or Everbowl. It's fine, whatever.
yeah.
Our rent's
And
nothing.
they're doing over $1 million per store.
For sure they are.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because the average order value, right? That's what
Yeah.
people have to think about is how much someone spends, and we're trying to increase that Everbowl. We started adding like avocado toast,
Okay.
smoothies,
Right.
things like that. Still not cooking.
I mean, we just had lunch.
$50
and
bucks?
Yeah, it was $42.
Yeah.
For
For
how
2
many?
people.
2.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$21 average. That's
$21.
huge.
$1 average.
That's huge.
And
Yeah.
I left feeling great.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
delicious. It's high
Delicious.
quality. It was
Yeah.
my first experience
I
there.
love
It's
that
like-
place. Yeah, I've gone
Yeah.
there for years.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're gonna start franchising in next year. All right, yeah.
I was the first. I guess the top 10 investor.
Yeah, that's it.
I sold out though.
It's
Yeah.
a great brand.
I know it's been around since 20. What do you say?
2016.
15, I think.
Okay, yeah,
So 9 years. I got out a year ago.
that's it.
So it's
When
like,
we think about brands like Sweetgreens, right?
yeah.
Blowing up.
Phil Ivey, the poker player, is actually the first investor. Funny enough, him and my friend Jeff Fried, they put the first check in. That company's worth $1 or $2 billion now.
That's it.
Yeah. Are they public? too?
Billion.
Wild.
I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe they did a big round, and but you just think about what can happen if you
Mhm.
start to really go for it.
I believe in it. I definitely
Tropical
believe in
Smoothie just had a huge
Yeah.
exit,
Hmm.
$200 million. Like, it's a
So
good space.
Cards and Coffee,
Yep.
Everbowl. What's number?
So the
and
events company.
Events company.
Events company.
So Elevator Studio, obviously, that's my main business. It's my agency.
Mhm.
And that's where you do influencer marketing, right?
Yeah. So Elevator Studio is my top of my umbrella for everything.
Mm.
Everything I've been talking about is owned by Elevator Studio.
Okay.
Not Dan. Everything's owned by
Okay.
agency. And Elevator Studio only has 2 owners, me and my CEO. So I gave my CEO some equity to run it. His name is Joey Carson. He did 30 years in the TV game. He invented
Solid.
reality television.
Wild.
He was the first CEO of Buena Murray doing Road Rules and Real World and Simple Life and Paris Hilton.
Wow.
and
All the
Kardashian.
old school shows we used to
Kardashians.
love.
My
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the CEO there. And so he's been the CEO for me for the last half a decade running my world. So he has a good piece of equity, and then there's no investors or partners. So Elevator Studio runs my world, and then every investment I do is under that. And Elevator Studio has 3,500 influencers that we've W9'd, that we've paid around $60 million for brands, products, and mobile apps.
How many?
3,500 influencers,
3,500.
around $60 million in spend.
Over the course of how long?
Well, that was just the last couple of years.
Okay.
But yeah, in general, we've done 110,000 paid posts.
Okay. Wow.
And keep in mind, the average paid post is only $500-600.
Right.
Right. Outside
Really?
of
Okay.
you pay a Kardashian or a Spence, obviously
Yeah.
that's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, right?
Right.
But for the most part,
Spence, how
yeah.
much you making per paid post?
It depends. I'd rather not talk about numbers on here because I don't want to get people mad at your boy. But I've been blessed.
So an influencer has different things about them. There has to be numbers. Obviously, let's call it Spence. He has millions of followers, but then there's a personal brand. He's done things outside of social media. So there's things that will make his price go up, make Spence in particular, his value will go up because he does other things outside of just being funny or just being fit or just being hot or just being cute for guys, girls,
He's
etc.
very multi-talented.
You got to do it all these days.
Podcast host.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. Let's go.
Extraordinary podcast host.
Yeah.
And so for an influencer, there has to be different factors, and that's how you come up with a price point for them. And so I've been doing that since the beginning of time. 2010, when social media first got started, I was driving to the Kardashians' house for tweets. They were doing literally Twitter tweets, and I would just make up numbers because we didn't know what to charge.
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what to charge either.
Yeah.
I was doing the original Fashion Nova posts and driving dresses to Kylie's house and
Back in the day, that's
Fit
right.
Tea.
Yeah, I was about to say Fit Tea. We brought that up earlier,
Yeah.
and it's like you really had the foresight of where that was going to lead with the creator economy in general, and now it's everywhere.
Yeah, now it's normal.
But what do you think about the creator economy now and where it's going? Do you believe in it?
So the difference now is everyone's an influencer, right? And for some reason, a lot of people are focusing on micro influencers versus macro influencers versus large influencers. The algorithm changed a lot. It was much different back then. Obviously, back in my days,
Exactly.
the algorithm was a lot different.
Yeah.
People saw your post in chronological order. A majority of your fans saw it. It was much easier, and there was less noise.
True.
There was not millions of influencers or tens of millions of influencers. So it's different now from that perspective. There wasn't as many platforms. I don't use platforms. I do it like a caveman.
I will platforms.
Platforms to like, you can. There's a lot of agencies that say, "Oh, we got 120,000 influencers." You don't know any of them.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Right.
I do it like a caveman. Hey, Spence, this brand will pay you 30,000. Will you do it? He's like, yes or no.
Yeah, just
You know?
text.
Yeah. And I say, hey, they're only offering 10,000. He's like, no. Hey, they're offering 50,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's up to him. But I just do literally hand-to-hand combat, texting all my
Personal
influencers.
relationships.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's the difference with my agencies. We've been here through the test of time when everybody else comes and goes, and we don't use big fancy platforms. We literally text and call our influencers and say, here's 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 20,000, whatever the number is. We text them, say Fit Tea, Fashion Nova, Postmates, DraftKings, Lyft.
What cut do you make on that?
20%.
Okay.
And we don't charge the influencer anything. So if I
Right.
give Spence 50 grand, he keeps all 50 grand. I could double dip, but we don't.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it. He would pay me a percentage if I asked him to.
Yeah.
We just don't. We just
Right.
give them a net amount, and that's why they
Yeah,
jump.
just give them the net amount.
That's why they jump when we text them, because they know they get to keep all the money. We have everything in advance. So I don't text them unless I have the budget in my account.
Right.
That's the other thing. I don't do like, hey, I think this red jersey company wants to pay you. I don't do that.
Okay.
Red jersey company has to wire me the money first and then I'll text
go.
everybody.
Right.
That's the right way to do it.
Yes.
You
Because
know?
influencers get bombarded with noise. I don't want to be noise.
True.
Yeah.
When my name lights up, it's to pay them.
And also, like I've heard a lot of horror stories with different influencer buddies get screwed over. Like they'll post, and then there's like a net 90
Net
days.
90, yes.
Net 90 is crazy.
Yes.
It's like
It's
what?
insane.
3 months.
3 months waiting. Then you want to post and do this and do that. But so it's nice that you guys do that.
Yeah. There's been some household name corporations that have bankrupted agencies because they didn't pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Like household name, Netflix, Disney, et cetera, have not paid agencies that are bankrupt now because they couldn't afford to pay their influencers, or they paid their influencers waiting for Netflix or Disney to pay them, and they didn't pay them.
And they didn't pay him.
That's wild.
So they're
Those
double
are real
out.
stories. It's intense, and it sucks because.
Why would name brand companies do that? Like,
So in those scenarios, it was very, very sketchy. There was someone retweeted, I won't say which of the companies, someone retweeted, a porn star retweeted a social media post.
Mm-hmm.
Tens of thousands of people retweeted it. It just happens to be one porn star retweeted it. And they were trying to say, oh, because that porn star retweeted Spence, let's just use that as the example. Because a porn star retweeted Spence, we're not going to pay. On a 200 influencer campaign.
That's crazy.
Hundreds of thousands of people retweeted. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was insanity.
Yeah.
Agency got bankrupted. Everyone got screwed.
Does that go to legal or?
Yeah, but they couldn't afford to fight Netflix or Disney, whichever one did it. And that happened in a very serious way. And same thing happened with the other company, and a different variation of that was someone else reposted and they're like, oh, I can't believe that person reposted it. It hurts our brand. You can't stop
You
someone
can't
from
stop
reposting.
someone from reposting that.
Literally
That's
anybody
crazy.
can repost.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Cardi B, Donald Trump can repost you today.
Super shady to do that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't do it. That's why I don't work with some household name corporations. I've turned down the best of the best deals. I won't wait net 30, 60, or 90.
Yeah.
Even if it's McDonald's. I've turned down McDonald's. I've turned down Amex. Great companies. I love Amex. I can't wait. I
And
refuse.
you
Yeah.
never know if they're gonna pull a fast one like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have your reputation on the
Absolutely.
line for the people that you
'Cause I
built your personal.
Yes, I prepay every influencer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd be gambling to see if Amex paid me.
Yeah.
I trust in them, but
Just in
You
case.
just gave an example where it didn't come through.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that's wild. I saw you post something the other day where you're opening up a new members club. Or
yes.
okay,
So-
yeah, tell me about that.
So my best friend's the one that financed it, so he's the main owner of it. So I don't want to take credit like I'm
Yeah.
the one that did it. His name is Brandon Steven. So he owns the chains of car dealerships and chains of gyms, etc. Very huge business guy from Kansas, and he already opened a nice steakhouse in Kansas. He's like, I want to do something in Beverly Hills, and he went completely overboard.
Yeah.
Completely overboard.
I'm excited to see it. Yeah.
28,000 square feet. Every detail is insane. We can go do a tour now. It's ready to go.
Epic.
It's just gorgeous. Right next to Cipriani and Mr. Chow. It's right
Should
on
we
the
do a
same
little
street.
tour
Yeah,
after
we check it
this?
out.
Yeah,
Sure.
And that place is super cool. So we designed it to be. Imagine if you mix Soho House with Cipriani.
Right.
Kind of combine the two together. We're not planning on being as big as Soho House and members wise because we're not looking for that. We want a couple thousand members, cap it at that, and then maybe open up other locations. But it's called Gravitas, and the idea is bottom floor is a gorgeous restaurant with the only retractable roof. We're gonna have an outdoor patio.
Retractable roof. Let's
Yes.
go.
In Beverly Hills, in the corner of,
Yeah.
right there in Santa Monica.
Wild.
So, anyways, that place is immaculate. But upstairs, we have a podcast studio. So if you ever
Cool.
guys want to film
Pull
there,
up, pull up.
we have some great rooms there, and it's just designed for members to really have a great meeting place in Beverly Hills. And we'll do late night stuff, and we'll do special events, which Beverly Hills doesn't have enough of.
Agreed.
Where else can you go late night besides like Wally's and what else?
No, we're good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is a place that you would be proud to host your birthday party, your event.
Cool.
The
What's your
Grammys.
projected launch date for that?
August.
Wow.
Yeah, we're
it's
right
coming
around-
up.
yeah.
Are you gonna throw the world's biggest pizza party there around that time?
Not there, but we're gonna throw it again. Yes, I don't think I'm gonna do it this year. It's
Okay.
Just from busy wise, because
True.
we got a baby popping out. And
Yeah,
Oh.
dude, ready to pop out.
Yeah.
What's the due date?
It's happening.
August 16th.
It's
so
exciting.
I don't want to
That's
throw the pizza
exciting.
festival in case.
Yeah, right
if she's,
there.
Yeah.
100%.
I will throw a birthday party, but it'll be,
How are people signing up for membership?
So they go to Gravitas. They can just Google Gravitas or go to Gravitas, the website. Kind of spelled like gravity. Gravitas. It's $5,500 a year, $2,500 up front, but then you get half of that money back in credit towards food and beverage.
Cool.
Nice.
And it's really designed for much more industry, fun business. Not like Soho House is much more culture and music and agents.
Right. Yeah.
Really.
Makes
And
sense.
so we're designing it more for. It's
Entrepreneurs.
fun. Like you're gonna see Kevin Hart there. You're gonna see Kevin Durant there. You're gonna see Russell Westbrook there. Like you're gonna
Right.
see like.
Are you
Character.
on the membership selection committee?
So I've been bringing in a lot of applications. A lot of my friends in membership.
I
I did
bet.
that. My post went viral, and I didn't expect that because.
It did go viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had like 200 text messages, a couple hundred DMs.
Everyone went in.
But I had
already.
250,000 views. I took it down. I took the post down.
Oh.
There were too many people.
Yeah.
Shit.
Great.
That wasn't the point of it.
It's not
But
exclusive anymore.
what it was when we think about it, like I made that video during a podcast. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I was doing a walkthrough of the venue. I
Mhm.
think when I do the walkthrough, I'm going to film that next week. That's going to be really interesting. I was surprised that it went viral, being a typical podcast. When
Just talking about it.
just talking when I've done, when you scroll through social media, you have to do what's called a pattern interrupt. That wasn't a pattern interrupt because it's just me doing my own podcast that I do every Monday.
Right.
And so that's why I was surprised that it did so good. And boy, I mean, household name football players, musicians, athletes, VCs,
They're all
doctors,
in.
all of them.
But you said that you do a podcast every Monday.
Yeah.
How many episodes are you at?
It's been a year and a half. So,
Okay.
and sometimes I do 2 people per episode,
Okay.
Wow.
2 separate episodes in the same episode.
Okay.
So yeah, I've done a lot. It's been number 1
So
for 66 weeks in a row.
so
Like,
a
That's it.
year and a half.
Number one
so you're-
podcast.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
you're at 75 or what?
more, yeah. Because sometimes I do 2.
Double
Right.
up.
On like more than half the episodes, there's 2 people per episode.
Okay.
So like if I was interviewing you guys, it would be separate.
Right.
but on the same episode.
Got it.
20 to 40 minutes each on the same episode.
Okay. So
But yeah.
yeah. So the length of each episode is 20 to 40.
It's 40 minutes or 1 hour 20.
Got it.
40 minutes per person is my max.
Got it.
Okay.
But yeah, so number 1 for 66 weeks in a row in the entrepreneur category. Number 3 in business.
On Spotify or
On Apple.
On Apple.
Yeah, on iTunes,
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. And I just talk about money. That's all.
Yeah.
I just talk about money and investing, and I only ask about that, and I keep them very straightforward.
What sort of advice do you have for us being a seasoned podcaster as we're getting
Yeah.
into extraordinary times?
I mean, you guys are doing great.
Let's go.
Because you're asking questions, but then you're also filling in information too. Most people just ask a question and they have nothing to say because they don't know this stuff. You guys
Yeah.
actually live and breathe it because you're
That's it.
a real business guy, real influencer. Like
Yeah.
you guys have the dynamic to actually throw in your 2 cents and know what you're talking about, not just talk to talk.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is when you make clips for the guests, make it about them, not you.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't share it if you guys are in it first for the first 5 seconds because it won't do good on their algorithm.
Right.
And ego-wise, even if they're super close with you, they won't post it if you guys are in it first.
Mm.
So make them first in the clip for at least the first 3 to 5 seconds. Then you guys can be in it as much as you want. And ultimately, you win no matter what. If Amanda Cerny posts it or Lauren posts it or whatever, like that will do good for you no matter what, even if you're not in it at all.
Right.
I make them a minimum 5 clips. That way they have choices. And I make them different styles, all 30, 60 seconds each, unless there's one that has like a point driven into it.
Right. Nice little story.
Yep.
Who are some of the favorite guests that you've had on your podcast?
Jesse Itzler.
Itzler's the man.
Yeah,
I read
yeah.
Living with a Seal.
Yeah.
Such a good book.
He went off about cereal.
Yeah.
He wanted to bet $1 million or no, give $1 million to the
that's
CEO
right.
of Kellogg's.
I heard about that. The
For
CEO
what?
of Kellogg
He
said,
said,
you
"Just
know,
pay me."
people, you know, it's rough times out there, but you know, they could eat cereal for dinner.
For dinner.
Oh, I heard about that.
What?
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 Yeah.
In tough times,
Yeah.
tell people to eat cereal for dinner. That's
Yeah.
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's no food. Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, what?
Gary Vee, obviously, like
Yeah.
he's the best. Dr. Gary Brecka. Gary
Who's
Brecka.
that?
Brecka.
Yeah,
Brecka.
he's the one that helps like Joe Rogan and Dana White.
10x
Okay.
Health
Yeah,
guy.
Dana White
okay.
put out that video saying he saved his life.
Yeah.
Went super viral.
Yeah.
Gary Brecka does it for everybody. Tom Brady's at his house all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's helping everyone. So I've had him on multiple times because he's so good.
Nice.
Doc Amen, the brain doctor.
Love Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
yeah, I don't know. who
I
that
was
is
listening to Amen before he popped off on socials
Yeah,
back in the day.
so good.
I saw his TED talk on brain scans.
He's got
It was
millions of
pretty-
followers
yeah.
and he does brain scans.
Okay.
And he's here. He's in Irvine.
Okay.
He has 11 facilities.
Great.
Who else is good? I don't know. There's so many great
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, so many.
It's exciting. You're doing, you know,
Young
what?
Jeezy. That was fun.
Young
Who's it?
Jeezy.
Yeah.
Young Jeezy.
Hey.
Yeah.
He was great.
Dude, what's
Yeah.
that song called? It's not
The
called
Snowman?
What?
He has a lot.
What's the song called? What's Young Jeezy's biggest hit?
I don't know. If
I
I heard
think
it.
he's got-
on the block with
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah, well, that's what they con. Yeah, he got 4 really big singles.
Mm.
Anyways, he put out a book, and he talked a lot of business stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
But also like looking at him, like I have in my mind all the songs, so I like know every word to those main singles.
Hilarious.
Anyways, yeah. So I try to interview people that I have an affinity for.
Okay, right. You're
You know,
excited about
I want to
too.
actually like ask them questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And they can tell. There's guests that you have in the seat that people know you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just doing it because they asked or because it's a favor or because
Right.
an agency placed it. I only interview people that I want to.
That's actually one of my favorite things about you. You know, you're doing so many different things and inspiring people along the way. But despite doing so many things, I feel like you're still excited about it all.
Yeah.
You know, the way you post and the way you talk, it's with enthusiasm. And like, even when I text you and I'm asking for a favor, you text me back quick and you're excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, I can feel that. I think that resonates with your audience too.
Because I turn down the stuff I'm not excited about.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people text me, right?
True,
There's 800 messages per day.
Yeah.
And I don't respond to the people that I don't want to or the things that I don't want to. And I try to live my life that way because life is really short. I've had a lot of friends pass away early.
Mm.
And I just think about time a lot. And so I gave up the emotion of like, oh, I have to get back to everyone. It's not mathematically possible for me to do that. And so I'm okay with it when I don't.
Okay.
And I turn down a lot of the stuff. And I'm really blunt about it. If someone says, I want to do this with you, and I just say no, or, you know, where a lot of people drag people on and run them through the ringer. I'm just really blunt. If I'm not going to do this, or I don't want to do that, or I'm not going to go there, or I can't do this. And like when you guys said you film once a month, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I changed all my
I felt that moment when we were on the phone.
Dude,
Everyone
I was like, I felt bad that you had to drive so far.
So just to let you guys know, Dan is one of the most busy people on the planet, and he drove, you know, it's a 4-hour commute to the Extraordinary podcast.
2 hours here, 2 hours back.
Yeah, it's round trip. You got to get back. So that's a
And
lot.
he's flying out to Dallas.
Yeah, crazy
tomorrow
schedule.
morning.
So how do you keep that excitement up though with such a busy schedule nonstop with everything?
It's the people and the things that I'm working on. So if you think about it, I'm selling blueberries and strawberries. I'm selling sports cards. I'm selling live events. I'm doing charity events. I'm doing influencer marketing. I didn't say I'm like selling steel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right? I'm doing things.
I'm selling steel.
Selling
essentially.
energy.
Well,
Yeah.
I like that though.
Yeah.
But I have some introductions for you on that part.
Yeah.
But you actually enjoy it,
Yeah.
right? By the way, I like Bitcoin mining, which is theoretically boring, but I like mining equipment. I like things that I'm interested in stuff. And if I'm not interested, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And it has cost me a lot of money, time, and energy to turn a lot of things down that would be profitable. I just don't care.
You don't want to waste time, it seems like,
I'd rather pour gasoline on the fire, the stuff that I like.
I heard this thing the other day, and they say that time is our most valuable asset, right? So that means that wasting your time is the worst thing you could do.
It's the only asset you can't replenish either.
Yeah. So you
can always make back money.
If you're sitting down or not doing anything, it's like, wait, you got to change that. That's the worst thing you could be doing for yourself. So it feels like you're not wasting any time.
I do not waste time.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with time.
Yeah.
How have you structured your career to be the most organized and time efficient? Like, what are Dan's tips and tricks?
Yep.
Not for us too, but
Yeah.
for the listeners as well.
Okay. The biggest things about time is you have to actually, one, you have to care about what you're going to be doing. Two, if you know you're going to be late, say that. If you know you're going to not do it, say that. I'm very blunt about every part of my schedule in advance, and I live and die by my calendar. My calendar is my world. I use reminders for everything. So if you guys said, hey, let's go to dinner 2 weeks from now. Hey, Siri, we're going to go to dinner 2 weeks from now on this time. And I will have it in my calendar, have it in my schedule. It's set.
Do you have an assistant that does you do your own calendar?
Yeah.
Same.
I have to.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have to. There's too many moving parts. There's too many interesting characters. I have Shannon who runs my world, not as an assistant, but like an executive that runs my events, like the event in Dallas tomorrow.
Right.
Boom, she's there already. Everything is already set up. When I get there, there's an event.
Right.
Epic.
But along the way, I'm texting everyone, hey, speaker, can you come speak? Hey, person, can you come do this? Hey, vendor, can you do this? And then she handles that part. But from a time perspective, I am also clear with everyone around me. This is the time. This is the place. This is the location. If I invite Spence, hey, my birthday party is at this time, this place. Here's the location. There's no back and forth.
Yeah, it's boom.
There's nothing to ask me.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have to text me back because if I text 300 people, even 1 or 2 extra
Waste
messages
of time.
is hundreds.
Yeah.
So everything I do is extreme clarity and extremely blunt. This is the time. This is the place. This is why. Who, how, why. Like all the things are blunt.
Yeah.
When I'm at things, I also don't let it drag on. So like I don't do a 3-hour dinner if I have to go somewhere or if I don't want to. I'm just really clear. Like, all right, time for the check. Because if I have other things to do in my life or in my world, I'm very clear about it. I'm unabashful about my world and my time. And because it's for the greater good. I know if I need to be here and I need to be there and I need to be here at this podcast and I have to fly here and I have a dinner tonight, boom, boom, boom. If you guys said, hey, this podcast can go 3 hours, I'm like, no, I can't. At 1 hour and 40, I'm walking out the door to go to Malibu to meet some people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't feel bad about it because, right? Like that's
100%.
the problem for a lot of people is they don't realize if you drag on one thing, it compounds everywhere else. If I stay here for 3 hours and I'm an hour and 20 minutes late to the dinner tonight, and then I was going to have drinks afterwards with someone else, everything is screwed.
Yeah.
All the way down the board. I'm being nice to you guys, but I've now screwed everyone else along the way. So is it nice or am I being rude? And so instead of doing that, I just am really clear. No, at this time I'm going to this thing that I already had planned out. And with my events, everyone knows how obsessed I am about time. I'll throw a 26 speaker 1-day conference, which is impossible to do, and run it to the minute every time. And I don't care.
That's impossible to do.
Is that what the July 20th event is?
Absolutely.
It's
It will-
26 speakers?
That one's a 16, but
Okay.
it will run to the minute.
Yeah.
So good.
And I don't care if you are a household name. I will walk on stage, give it up for Martha Stewart.
Yeah, that's it.
Mic's off, turn the volume up, like
Nice.
next.
Yeah.
That's important though. Like you said,
Well, if Martha goes over by 12 minutes, I now have to tell Alex Rodriguez or Stephen A. Smith or David Goggins. You tell David Goggins we're going to be late.
Yeah.
I'm not telling him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to tell David Goggins
No.
that.
No. And so
Have you done other events with David Goggins?
all the time.
What's he like in person?
Exactly what he is on the camera.
Yeah.
That is him. 100%. And we were backstage at the event, and I walk in the room, and he's doing push-ups.
Yeah.
I have the video back in actually. He's doing push-ups, and I walk in. He jumps up. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking burn the buildings down. This is what we're gonna do." Da, da, da. He's like, "And let's change this and this." And yes, no
go.
problem. We get out there, and he just turns the whole place on fire. And then I asked him, I was like, "Hey, what I want to do is actually get all 7,000 people to do jumping jacks." And we got 7,000 people doing jumping jacks.
Nice.
Love it.
In the arena. But he is a very unique situation.
Yeah.
I've never ever met anybody like him, and I don't think I ever will.
What's his story? What how did he get to where he is? Is he
Well,
like a Marine or something? Or
Yeah,
like,
well, he's one that actually tried out for multiple and got into multiple categories of Navy SEALs and other types of
okay.
military professions.
That's really rare.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Mhm.
Especially being African American, overweight at the time. He was 260 or something.
Oh,
he was
shit.
a big
Big
boy,
dude,
maybe
yeah.
more than that. And you can see the picture in his book and like the transformation. The story was he was doing pest control and cockroaches fell on him, and he just realized like this is not.
That's
for
a
me.
sign if I've ever
Yeah.
heard one, if I've
Yeah.
ever seen one.
And he got fit, and he went and changed from being basically like the bum on the couch, like that was just getting by and like struggling and overweight, to like, I'm gonna be the baddest in the world.
Yeah.
And did it, which is there's so many factors that were against him
For sure.
to go do that. And then he went and got into these hard to get into military professions and at the highest level. And then his book became massive, 6.2 million copies and growing.
Damn.
Mhm.
And so
What's the book?
You can't hurt me.
Can't Hurt Me. Yeah.
Can't hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has a second book now as well. But he doesn't really speak at events if he doesn't have to or doesn't want to, and he charges a lot. He keeps raising his price because
Because you
Can you
can.
say what his price is?
right now he's charging $225,000 plus a jet.
Pretty
Plus
good.
the jet.
He
Yeah, it's
won't
pretty
mind that because if people will pay him that, then
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
Yeah, certain people I won't say their fees, but for him it's a great. If you want to book him for $225,000, I'm sure. he'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, that's like a DJ.
Yeah.
It's like, doesn't pull up.
But
It's
because
it.
he'd rather not do it.
Yeah.
Right.
He's rich, he's busy, and he's in his zone.
Mhm.
But if someone's willing to pay him, $250,000, then he'll step out and do that for.
How do companies justify that other than hard ticket sales? Does it always translate, or is there some brand equity that they're doing where like, I'm willing to take a loss on this speaker, but it's going to make up for it over time because I'm building this?
Corporate events don't make money.
Yeah.
Corporate events are doing it for their business. So let's say Sweet Finn was throwing a corporate event for 600 employees. They just want a cool speaker. They're not
Right.
charging anything. They
Right.
just, that's just a franchise event or company event. So every major corporation has corporate events, and they book speakers like me, Goggins, Gary Vee, celebrities, performers, Ludacris. They're performing. DJ Khaled. They're booked nonstop for corporate events.
Right.
Alessa was at a freaking wedding last night for 220,000
Right.
for 45 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it was just a big corporate executive throwing a wedding last night, and bada bing, bada boom.
That's it.
So the rates are interesting if you walk through how influencers or how speakers or how celebrities are charging for essentially 1 hour of their time. But it's because they're pulled all over the planet. Their value is their brand. Oftentimes they won't make up for it, right? You pay Steve Aoki $250,000, you might not make up for it in bottle sales that night, but boy, you got a lot of branding out of it.
Right. Got a lot of cake content.
What are your 10-year goals?
So I just have one main goal, is to save the world.
Okay.
When I
I
say
love
it,
that.
when I say it, I mean it from efficiency. So humans only need 3 core things: food, water, shelter to survive. They need love and attention and other things theoretically, but what they actually need to survive is food, water, shelter. There's already a really good charity with Charity Water doing that mission. I'd rather give them money than go try to do
Right.
water. But food and shelter is very solvable. There's no reason when you have Walmarts and Targets, major fast food chains and health food chains that have to get rid of their food that don't deploy it in an efficient manner, and their expiration dates are fake. The expiration dates that could last much longer for most of the food there. And when you think about what does a human actually need to eat, well, how many millions of nutrition bars go wasted every day? But they're not actually expired. How many hundreds of millions of Gatorade and Prime and water bottles, et cetera, get tossed to the side or not?
True.
When you just think about every category of food, from the retail chains to the restaurants and the manufacturers, they're inefficient. And so I want to go out there and show them, I've done my charity for 14 years with a 0% overhead. I've run the world's largest toy drive, broke the Guinness Book World Records back-to-back years without going out and asking for money. I'm showcasing to the world that I'll do it for no money. I'll put up my own money every single year, spend millions of dollars to throw charity events so that later I can be a good steward of capital to efficiently fix homelessness and food. And by proving the street cred of not once or twice, but for 10 to 14 years of each charity, I can do that. And so my goal is, when I said earlier about events, I'm collecting people. And along the way, I'm proving to the world that I can do charity really, really efficiently. So when it comes time, if I go say, hey, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, give me $1 billion, they would actually trust me to go do it because they know
you can execute.
I don't want $1. I'm not going to take $1. It's all public record. Here's the financials. I don't want $1. I just want to do this better. There's no reason that Los Angeles has homelessness.
Yeah.
What's the solution for homelessness?
A couple things. The one main one is to basically build a prison, but instead of homeless, it's called home full. And home full is effectively like a prison, but they can come and go obviously with certain parameters. But you're taking them away because right now they just build these like tent camps. That is not efficient. There's no bathrooms.
Yeah.
There's no food. There's no education. How are they going to get out of homelessness? So you effectively build a prison that has school, hospital, grocery stores, places to work, and you build them their own city. And in that city, and this isn't a theory, I'm actually going to do this. In that city, they can now become humans for society that come back in. Now, listen, not all homeless ever will. There's a lot of mental situations, a lot of drug situations that they're never going to fix. They don't want to fix it. And those problems, they're going to stay there forever or stay in a different type of a camp because they're just not going to come back into society.
Right.
And that's something you can't fix. And rehab doesn't work, and a lot of things don't work to fix that. However, a vast majority of them are just down on their luck, or inflation got to them.
Right.
Stuff happens.
Or they just don't know how to make money.
Yes.
It's like I was driving down the street. I took a turn and I saw a row of so many different homeless people. And I saw this one girl in the back of her SUV and just clearly like organizing some of her stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, this is kind of sad. Like she's not a bum.
Right.
She just doesn't have a home other than her SUV in the back of her car. And I'm like, what is she doing? Well, these people are really saving money because maybe they can't, pay rent somewhere.
How can you pay rent in LA?
And then and it's like, okay, well maybe they never really learned how to make money because in school you're not really taught to. I think it's an education problem because you need money to live. You need to buy shelter, you need water, you need food. And it's such a fundamental thing for humans to learn how to make money. And if you can't do that, then you're living on the street. So I think it's also an education issue.
No, where would you learn it?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Where would you learn it?
Yeah, I think the camp is I've been thinking about that too. Like, do you create one for every like big city, or is it just like one in the middle of the United States?
No,
or,
each
like,
city.
Yeah.
You just make them literally the size of a prison.
Yeah.
And I have it in my brain section off, so it's single males, single females, families, and people that are dangerous. And I say dangerous, they don't have to be dangerous, but
It's just got different levels.
Yeah.
We got a code red over here.
Just so they're not. And by the way, they're not the people that are on drugs or have mental disabilities. They're in a protected environment, but it's protect the moms and kids that are over here, right? So, but this is effectively a small city.
High security.
Yeah. And they can work there, they can learn there, and they can rehab themselves there to go back into society.
It's important. I think that's a ambitious goal, but also really important.
But when you think about Los Angeles getting billions of dollars for homelessness,
Yeah.
we can't walk outside here.
No.
You're going to step over a homeless person, step on a needle, a fight's happening over there.
And you can
right outside on Sunset Boulevard.
It's crazy.
What?
And you
Like,
can't
it's
just throw
crazy.
money at that problem and expect it to be solved because California, I read that they spent $27 billion on homelessness
How?
within
Where?
the last
Show me.
5 or 6 years.
Where?
And it's gotten worse.
Where?
So just throwing money at something
where?
doesn't work. Yeah.
Show me a building.
Yeah.
Show me a cleaning. I've never seen someone outside cleaning.
It's
Have you seen anything?
Nothing. It's
Not-
crazy.
I mean, like anything.
Yeah.
Out of billions of dollars,
I don't live
anything.
here, but yeah, I
It's
heard that number
disgusting
too.
outside. Yeah.
It's scary how bad it is. And so that's why you can hear my frustration in it. There are billions of dollars being dedicated to homelessness in Los Angeles. Los Angeles isn't that big. We talk about it like it's big. There's downtown, there's Santa Monica, there's Hollywood.
Venice, that's it.
Like there's some major pockets of where the homelessness is. Go walk down Hollywood Boulevard right now.
No.
Try doing it at
Crazy.
nighttime.
Yeah,
And then, we're guys, right?
Right.
We're men. Imagine what a
What's she
girl
gonna
feels
do?
like. Yeah.
You're not gonna walk outside on Hollywood Boulevard right now. Of
course not.
There's hundreds of homeless, not a few dozen. But you're telling me out of billions of dollars, I don't need billions of dollars to fix that.
Yeah.
You tell me you can't buy a warehouse and put them in there. You can't buy a high-rise and put them in there. But the problem is the government is slow and there's a lot of red tape.
Right.
Agreed.
I'm not anti-government. I'm anti-slow. And right now they're unveiling a building right this second where the one-bedroom loft units are $600,000.
I saw that.
For a homeless person. What are
What?
you talking about? I can build tiny homes for 30 to 60 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can build an apartment building because we have friends that build multifamily, and each unit is 40 to 100 grand.
It's just
$600,000.
It's a bunch of waste. That's what happens when politicians get into things.
$600,000, you could be building them 5-bedroom houses.
Yeah, seriously.
Like $600,000 from a cost basis means you're building a $1.2 to $1.5 million place from a cost basis.
Well, also, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like they built it as 600. It's like you get the contractor that built it and then they sold it to the government, and the contractor is going to sell it for as high as they can.
Yeah.
You know, so they want it to be $600,000, even though it probably costs maybe $40K a unit to build. But they're the ones that are pocketing it, the contractors.
The inefficiency is frustrating.
There's this company called Boxable that's
I
trying
love
to.
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
They like they're like building homes on an assembly line kind of, and they the homes
And
kind of
they
like
can connect
pop
too.
out.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah,
Easiest way to
I did a
build
video
homes.
at the
It's like
warehouse.
big Legos.
Yeah, and
They can help
they
fix
sell
the
them for
world.
50. Yeah, they sell them for 50K, but they cost a lot less to make.
You could buy small homes on
You
Amazon.
could literally build a full city and put these like 20K boxable homes up for the homeless people.
Yeah,
What if Los Angeles said, here's $1 billion? That's like 20,000 units or something crazy?
Exactly.
That would solve a lot. If you
That would solve a lot. That would solve a lot, yeah.
And you got a big park, and you go through 1,000 houses in one park and 1,000 houses on the desert over there. And go to Simi Valley. There's plenty of land out there.
You have a whole city.
Whole city. Put
Yeah,
5,000
throw it,
tiny
like,
homes
out,
in
you know.
there. Yeah, just go a half hour outside of town, outside of town.
You do it for a lot cheaper than $27 billion.
Even a little further, like even a little
Whatever.
further, you know.
Just put them out in the mountains.
Bust them out, yeah.
It'd be great. Everyone's happy. They got nice houses. People will actually start building like grocery stores around them. And
Yeah, build a whole city.
that's it. If people could live rent free, they can get back on their feet.
There's a lot of ways,
That's true.
to improve what's going on.
But we can't see anything out of 27 billion alleged dollars
It's crazy.
in just Los Angeles.
Just LA, yeah, or California.
Who's the mayor of LA?
Exactly.
Karen Bass.
Garcetti?
Yeah.
Oh, Garcetti's not anymore?
Not anymore.
Huh.
It's wild. How did you guys meet each other?
We met through
I was
Skylar.
surprised when you guys
I
totally knew
think.
each
Yeah,
other.
I
Skylar.
think, yeah.
In Miami.
Skylar Houseworth.
Okay, I don't know Skylar. I don't think I do.
I think you do.
You need to know
Maybe I do.
Skylar.
He owns Model Volleyball.
Oh, okay. I know Marco.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He's a partner in
The fancy restaurant.
Socialista.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Socialista.
Epic.
Yeah, and he just started a new company called Certified,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of cool. They're certifying
Personal trainers and
yeah, they started out with
instructors.
yoga instructors, like
Okay.
your 200-hour certification, and now they've branched out to other certifications.
Cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yep. Is there anything other that you're excited about
Yeah,
that
sure.
you're working on right now that's new?
One more thing.
Yep.
I don't want to.
So I took on the chairman role of a beverage company.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's right.
Yeah, so Rise Beverage Group. They're in 30,000 stores already.
Cool.
It's like a nitro cold brew coffee. Not like it is exactly a nitro
I've seen
cold
it.
brew.
I've seen Rise.
You're an independent board director who's chairman, or how do you think about it?
I came in as chairman of the whole
Right.
company, yeah. And then I immediately signed a distribution deal with our friends at BLK, the Blackwater, because they're in 29,000 stores. And they have over 80 distributors. And so combining the two forces together, is a huge win. And so those distributors will now start carrying Rise. Rise will help BLK.
What kind of a drink is Rise?
Coffee.
Nitro cold brew.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had it before. It's good.
Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
number 1, number 2 in sales at most grocery store chains and a lot of the health food store chains.
Where
And-
can I go? Like you said, 40,000. What kind of grocery store chains? Like
Most of them.
Ralph's? Like I can
Yeah,
go to Ralph's?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we literally bought it at Ralph's today, like
Nice.
2 hours ago.
Sweet.
Gotta support.
She was like, "You're buying your own drink." I'm like, "Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?"
of course.
I
but
don't get it for free.
So what sort of roles do you have being the chairman of Rise, and how much time does that take up for you?
So it's helping with connections. You
Okay.
know, the company's already been around for 9 years, so they don't need me from an operations
Established, yeah.
perspective. I'm just like, hey, I know these brokers, I know these distributors, I know these people that could
Connecting the dots.
I raised a round of funding. Like I'm just helping with all the moving parts,
Mhm.
but they don't need me for day to day.
Okay.
Most of the businesses I invest into don't need me for day to day.
Did you invest into Rise?
Yes, but
Okay.
I also brought in a lot of capital, and
Okay.
me and a friend of mine raised a lot of capital for them to scale them,
Nice.
because I like pouring gasoline on the fire, and a company like Rise, and I raised money for BLK as well.
Mhm.
2 months ago, I raised millions of dollars for BLK water. They already had a lot of funding, but I like raising. I just raised 2 days ago for It's Skinny Pasta, a healthy pasta brand. I raised them 3 million 2 years ago. Raised them 3 million more this week.
Nice.
Like I like health food and beverage brands, and
So
so
you taking a commission on that stuff, or
no, I take equity.
take equity?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I raised $3 to $6 million per deal, And I can take commissions sometimes, but if I'm an investor, I don't.
It shows that you really believe in it too. It's like,
Yeah.
your money's better in equity for the company, so it can grow.
So we do 3 to 6 million per brand, mostly food and beverage. We did it for Icon Meals. We did it for Joyride Candy. 4 million for Joyride Candy, 3 million for Icon Meals. 3 million for Skinny Pasta twice now.
Have you heard of Final Boss, that candy?
Oh, yes.
It's blowing up.
Yeah, someone just sent me the deck.
Okay, cool.
Peter Pham.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, Peter Pham just sent me the deck on it.
Okay, cool.
And he's like, this is my next Liquid Death. Which, he sent me Liquid Death when it was like...
It was nothing.
Did you do that
nothing.
one?
I actually turned it down multiple times.
Yeah, big.
Yeah,
big.
I don't regret it.
Okay,
How big
cool.
is that company worth now?
I think 750 or a
Yeah.
billion.
Yeah,
Man.
over 700 million for sure.
Mhm.
But I don't regret turning it down. Their valuation was really high at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I believed in Peter because he's the best. He runs Science VC, and he's done it before multiple times. But
They actually gave me an offer for Sweat Sonic.
oh, really?
Yeah, but it was just too steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
They make up for it in who they are.
Okay.
That's all I will tell you. They make up for it because they bring a lot of velocity to things, a lot of capital to things. Obviously,
Mhm.
they raised like 7 rounds of funding for Liquid Death,
Right.
and so they just have access to capital of really big checks, and they brought in so much for Liquid Death. My issue was their valuation was so high, but someone making you an offer, for example, they might be able to get you an inflated valuation later that makes up for it.
Yeah.
When someone can, especially a guy like Peter and his partner, Mike Jones,
Right.
Science has been around for years, and they've done some serious exits, some serious investments.
Mhm.
But the hard part is when someone gives you a lowball offer or wanting too much of your company, you have to make a decision. Let's say I want to buy 20% of your business.
Right.
Do you think that Dan can help you buy more than 20% over the years? If the answer is yes, then I didn't get a discount.
Right. Right.
I'm coming to you and I'm helping you with your business. Every time I invest in a company, I ask for 20 to 50% discount to the valuation. It's aggressive, but I know I make up for it because I'm going to bring you 37 investors. They're all strategics. We're going to give you $3 to $6 million. We want a discount, but we're going to make up for it because we'll help you with your paid ads, your marketing, your influencers, your warehouse,
Everything.
shipping, lawyers, accounting, design, whatever you want, a la carte. We'll help you with anything and everything. Your choice. And so we do ask for a discount. And that's why obviously someone like Peter from Science and Mike will ask for a discount because of who they are.
Yeah.
They know they will make up for it because your next round might be at a 20 million or 40 million valuation, and they go ask for 100.
Right.
So they make up for it in that sense that they can go get you. When I say inflated, I'm not trying to say that it's not the real valuation. They just bring a lot
They
of
just
velocity.
bring a lot more value.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that's a big thing for me is I'm trying to find companies that are already doing 2 to 20 million in sales, typically 5 to 20 million, that I can throw 3 to 6 million into. Not just me. I raise capital into these businesses.
That's what Seth at Sweetfin's doing right now.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one for you.
Mhm.
But hey, we're over the hour, dude, and I want to be
Yep.
respectful of your time. This was awesome.
My
You're
pleasure.
an extraordinary entrepreneur.
One of the most
Yeah.
extraordinary entrepreneurs.
Yeah, talked about so many cool things today. Definitely want to have you back on.
You guys got to come on my podcast now.
100%.
do that.
Let's
do
go.
that.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
I'll bring
All right.
it's an RV motorhome, so I'll just pull up over here.
That's cool. Let's do
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
You got
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.